It's diesel heater day. This is a new one from Sunster. This is the HTB1. Small compact unit here, listed as an 8 kilowatt heater. So it should put out plenty of power. This is a new design from last year, and I'm going to do a comparison with one from last year in a little bit to kind of show you the difference. But just to give you the features on here, on the rear, we have our air input, which actually sticks out pretty far and has some grooves in it, so the hose can attach on there easily. We'll talk about that in a bit. We have the exhaust, which is kind of unique. I'll talk about that more as we get into the setup. We have an external fuel tank, 6 liters, should run it for a good long time. Upgraded electronics on here, and the air output in a 3-inch size. We got the legs on here, and just to give you a quick peeker inside here, we have the unit, our fuel pump back there, basic electronic harness, so nothing too unusual there at all. Your basic diesel heater setup. Now, what is different about this unit? And that's where we get into some interesting things. I pull up my notes here. It does have a 3-meter extension cord, so you can pop off the controller and mount it somewhere. If you're putting this in a workshop or shed, makes it easy to run it in thermostat mode that way instead of being attached to here. That's included with it. It has a cleaning function. So one of the complaints about diesel heaters is that over time, the internals will get all gunked up with soot, and you got to take them apart, and it's a nasty cleaning job. And really, with the cost of heaters these days, they're almost disposable. You just buy another one instead of cleaning it all out, because it's a mess. With the cleaning mode, it's supposed to heat up those internals, get rid of that soot, and help keep it clean. So we'll see how that is, but that's going to be a long time of running it before we would see a benefit of that. So I can't really tell you if that's useful or not, but they claim it is. So it's interesting because nobody else has it. It does have a Bluetooth app for controlling it. And again, we're going to have some notes on that down the road here. It's the only unit that I've seen that actually advertises recirculating efficiency. Now, while some of them do work well in a recirculating mode where you have your hot air coming out, going into a room, and then a pipe going from there into the back to recirculate it and make it efficient, this is really the only one that not only advertises it, but the mounts on here are designed for it. So that's going to be interesting. We'll have to see if there's a difference in efficiency as we get this out on some camping trips and stuff. But right now, for the initial tests, we're not going to run it like that. We're going to go over the basics of everything else. Now, let me show you the cool things on here that I like and maybe don't like so much, and then we'll do the comparison. So it does have totally different muffler design, where most of them have that flat kind of pancake one. This is cylindrical, and it has threads. Well, the exhaust pipe has threads. So all I have to do to set it up, screw it in nice and tight. There's no clamps on here. That's a win. Same on the other side going into the unit itself. I can just put it on here and just turn it until it's nice and tight. And it's set up. There's, again, no clamps. That's handy. With the hoses, they have ends on them that just pop on, turn, and lock in place. Again, no clamps during your setup and teardown. So that's a big plus. That I'm happy with. The controller works fine. The app works fine. I'll show you that in a little bit. What I'm not a huge fan of is the feet. I mean, you can see this pipe is laying basically on the ground. If we're taking this into camping in some state parks and any national parks that have camping, you need to have this elevated 6 inches off the ground. I've told every diesel heater manufacturer this. We need 6 inches of ground clearance. So have feet that fold out so this thing can come up and be compliant. Instead of every heater that we've seen this year, I have to put wooden blocks under it or something to get that up off the ground. I don't want this super hot exhaust on the ground. If I'm in grass or something, it could catch that on fire. So I always have to find some other way of lifting these up. So to me, that is my biggest complaint with every diesel heater, not specific to this one, but I did tell them about that. I want fold out legs that get this thing up off the ground so that the exhaust isn't sitting right on the ground. Secondly, I am not a fan of an external fuel tank. 2 reasons. One, it exposes this to the elements, the outside temperature, ambient temperature, and if it gets really, really cold and I don't have winterized diesel, this could cause this to gel up versus it being inside. There is some ambient warmth from the heater unit itself that should keep the diesel fuel from gelling up. Having it outside really gets it more exposed. Secondly, you have the fuel line outside, which gets it exposed, and getting this in and out of the vehicle and stuff, at some point I am going to snag this hose. So for me, that's not cool. I don't like that for that reason. Now, during the original testing of this, I had 2 issues. The first was the app would not work. It would just crashed constantly. And we did go back and forth with Sunster. They were working with the developers. They finally got it fixed. And now the app is working just fine. I don't have any problems with the app now. It works perfectly. Was a problem early on, but it was fixed. Second was the pump in here was ridiculously loud. And this is billed as a silent pump. I sent them videos of it and they said, sure, it should not be doing that. They sent a replacement pump and now this thing is dead quiet. So that being said, had some initial problems, but again, this was a very early production model. And so all those things should be not a problem for anyone buying one now. Now, I do want to compare this to last year's Sunster that we used. This is the older model. This is the TB10, I believe. Yeah, the TB10. Physically, it's about the same size. However, the fuel tank is inside. I prefer that. I just like this form factor better. It did not have any way of mounting the air intake on the back for recirculating. I had actually made a 3D printed piece so I could do that on here, but it worked fantastic in really cold weather. And the front, where the hose went, really didn't stick out very far. So trying to get a clamp on here with the hose was kind of a pain, but I wanted to show the difference. I just prefer the internal fuel tank myself. But be that as it may, we have this one here, and it does come with both your standard DC ports and an AC adapter for running it, whichever works best for your situation. And I'm going to go ahead and plug her in. While we're getting this started, I did want to mention that during the testing, it did rain all night long with the heater sitting outside. A lot of people ask, can these be left outside if it's going to rain or if it's going to snow? And we put this one to the test, and sure enough, this thing held up beautifully, stayed running all night, and is still working properly to this day. All right, and let's fire up the app. Okay, we get the app up and running. It sees the device. I'll go ahead and click on that to connect to it, and boom, we're right inside the app. So pretty simple. Not much to it. I'm just going to hit the power button here.
Power on.
So turns the power on, and it's going to fire up. Now, while it's doing that, let's talk about the testing that we did. Bring up my notes here. I said it has a 6-liter fuel tank, and running continuously on level 1, I got 31 hours and 23 minutes. So if you're running it 8 hours a day, you get almost 5 nights out of it. 4 nights. Yeah, 4.5 nights, whatever. 31 hours and 21 minutes of runtime. The volume on here, the volume level, I was recorded with a decibel meter at 64 dB. So not bad at all. Other than that, it's pretty nice. It's nice and quiet. Let's get back to the app here, and we can monitor its startup process. On the app, we can see that I've got 13.2 volts going in, 4,780 feet. That's a little off. I'm at 5,080 feet, so it's 300 feet off. Whoop-de-doo. I don't think that's going to make any difference in its performance. The fan speed and the temperature is showing 75 degrees in it right now. Now, I have it on manual temperature control. Where other heaters on manual, or they call it gear mode, it's going to be like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This shows it as 81 degrees right now. So if I want to turn it up, I hit plus, and you see it moves that bar up. Whatever, right? I mean, I can just have it on the lowest setting, and it's going to work just fine for our purposes. So it's at 97 degrees. So you can see it's starting to come up to temperature pretty quick here. 99. You hear any ticking sound? Because I don't. The only sound I hear from this is the blower on here. So that's pretty good. And it is coming up to temp pretty quick, 113 degrees. So very, very fast from 0 to hot air output. You'll get warm air initially, and then it'll kind of kick up. You'll get some warmer air, and then once it gets to full temperature, then you'll kind of hear everything settle back down and actually quiet down even more. So it's basically turning on and running at a higher setting, and once it gets up to running temperature, then everything kind of goes down to the setting that you have it at. So 145, this should get upwards of 300 degrees, and putting a meter on here does verify that. It's pretty close to what the output is. So if this is a style that you like, given the things that I said were kind of misses, they may not have any impact on you whatsoever. For most people going out and camping, not going to be a problem. Even here in Colorado, if we're up in the mountains and we're at 10,000 feet and it's 14 degrees outside, it's going to run just fine. Even without recirculating, it's going to run really nice. Trying the recirculating should help keep it more efficient, should cut down on the fuel consumption a little bit, because as we go up in altitude, I find that we use more fuel at the same setting as I do here. As I said, I'm at 5,080 feet at home. When we go camping, we're often at almost double that, 10,000 feet, and we'll burn more fuel at the higher altitudes. Running recirculating means we're putting warm air in, or warmer air in, than outside air, meaning it doesn't have to run as hard, therefore it should use less fuel. So there's that. Ooh, man, that's toasty. 277 degrees. So, and now, if you heard, it got really loud for a moment, and now it's starting to settle down into its kind of running mode. So at this, not very loud at all. The only sound you hear is the blower inside of this. And if this is sitting outside your tent, especially if you have like a rooftop tent where it's maybe down below you, or like tailgate level or tire level, or even on the ground, you're really not going to hear this thing at all. So very quiet. The price on this guy is $169. So pretty cost efficient for a diesel heater that is nice and compact and has these newer features. The clamping hoses that go on here, the screw-on exhaust, the screw-on muffler, the larger fuel tank, the Bluetooth app, all these things do make this a really good product. And if the external fuel tank and the external fuel line right there doesn't bother you, then this is a great product for sure. It's quiet, it works, puts out plenty of hot air. Whew, yeah, 306 degrees. And I'm just kind of torn because I'm just so used to modern designs not having an external fuel tank. Is that going to be a long-term problem? Maybe not. And for many, many people, it's not going to be. But if this works for you, fantastic. I think it's a great unit. I've got links below so you can make sure and find it on Amazon. And yeah, we'll get a little kickback. Like I said, my biggest complaint is the feet. And it's not a Sunster problem, it's a diesel heater industry problem. Nobody is making these properly to get them up off the ground efficiently. And hopefully in 2026, for next winter, we can see some changes like that from anybody that's listening. But for now, great unit, check it out. 169, the Sunster HTB1. It's now running on level, basically it's level 1, putting out 313 degrees at the output. No ticking sound whatsoever. So that's it for the HTB1. I wish they had better names. Thanks for watching, everybody. This has been Kerry with Trail Traveler. If you like these types of videos, let me know in the comments below. There is on the YouTube app a new hype button underneath the video. So it tells me that you liked it and you think it should be shared with other people who have similar interests. We appreciate those hypes, the likes, the comments, and all that good stuff. So thanks for watching. Stay safe out there and warm while you're camping. And we'll see you on the trails.